and they're using it as a circuit animal. Now, I don't know that any of them qualify. And yet the United States of America has danced in the environment, has danced around until we're all jumping to the tune. I mean, is that what we're doing? Well, that is law. That's, that's as good a law as we got. But anyway, I appreciate you guys that's come in here with me.
I have a question. Since they are getting through you the way they want, are they using the IRS and other federal, are they attacking you audits and doing?
I felt like I had more than one battle, or had a plenty big battle, so I've always been trying to stay straight with the IRS, just go ahead and pay their taxes. They have caused, they've come out there and caused a little disturbance a few times. They've tried to put me in the courts. Like, for example, I had a tractor I parked along the road, and they tried to take me to court over tractor not having a tractor on, unauthorized use of public land. They want to pull me into court. They tried to pull me into court again on another one just about the same way a couple of weeks ago. I had a tractor working in the river, and I pulled the tractor up to park it and wait for, I had to sign a check, I guess what it was. So I was up on the bank, and the BLM ranger come along, and he wanted to know what was going on. Now listen to how I handle this. The BLM ranger comes along, he has his car, his marked car, his badges, his guns, his uniform, his radios, and he comes up and he wants to know what I'm doing and all this and that. And I ask him what his business is. I ask him what is his jurisdiction, what his authority was. Well, he owned, public land, this and that. And I said, well, do you have any jurisdiction? Oh, yeah. I said, do you have any policing power? Oh, yeah. Do you have any arresting power? Oh, yeah. I said, well, you better get me arrested, because I'm going to call my county sheriff. You're going to run your ass out of here. And that's exactly what happened.
Great questions. They relate to the core issue. So, Cliven, Ryan, thank you. Thank you so much for what you brought here. You have a wealth of information, so before you leave, please come get your copies. Cliven and them, his family, they came here at their own expense. We're going to try to reward them, but we'll see if they'll let us. They copied these copies for you, so come get copies. I'm going to study this language because this is a battle that I'm going to take on with, well, hopefully you'll hear me later speaking about that past permit I had with the Forest Service.
On those copies, what I can do is just leave you a copy, because I got 3 copies really with me. I got 3 meetings before I get home.
Okay, all right. Please don't take them out then. What I'll do, whatever he leaves me, we will make copies and we'll make them available through the website, independentcattlemenofwyoming.com. There's brochures in the back. They've got all of our directors' contact information. You can contact us by phone, by email. This brochure also tells you the other battles we're fighting and core beliefs that we stand for. Also, the newsletter, earlier I lied, it's not in color. It will be if you request it electronically, but everything in print is in color, and we hope to change the color someday. So I wanted to get that clear. Also, I think our prevailing topic today, there again, we could talk about a lot of issues, but what it's coming down to is, and I want to ask you a question and see what's your response, because I think we have an assumption that gets us chasing symptoms, and that is, if I ask you, what is law? How do we define law? What's your answer? What do you say the law is, Judy?
Should be constitutional law.
Okay, Constitution. So I would say that's an example of law. What is law, Bert?
Supreme law, the land, the Constitution.
Okay. Now both of you mentioned, yeah.
I would say first of all, God's law.
Okay. In order to have a law, you have to have a lawgiver, right? All right. What we've all mentioned here basically is the 10 Commandments and common law. There's a scad of other laws out there, folks, and that's where we get confused. That's where I got confused. I thought the law was the law. Well, common law, in order for there to be a violation, there must be an injured party. And that's where we have our rights. If we get into the areas of commerce law, of maritime law, there's scads of other laws, and I hope you'll go research and check to see if I'm wrong. Common law is where we have rights because that's where we can claim to be an injured party. If we're being sued by the federal government for not paying our taxes, they have to do it under common law as long as we make that claim. They cannot prove that they are an injured party. Same with rules and regulations of federal agencies. They have to put them, unless we play their game in their court, which is not common law, they have to prove that they are an injured party. So that's what we do. When we have the right to contract under common law, we can make obligations to each other, and if one violates the other, we go to a common law court, and a jury of our peers says, yes, there is an injured party here, and this amount. It didn't have to be utilized a lot back in the day because most of us understood. We injured our neighbor to this amount, and we made compensation. If we don't go that route, we end up in a different law and a court that we think is the court of the land, and we get, guess who gets the money? Not the victim. The judges, the courts. That's who winds up with our money. So I just wanted to give you a distinction between types of law. There is more than one type. Common law is really what we need to know. Without that knowledge, we're going down the wrong river in their boat. And they're going to be waiting at the waterfall. Any other comments or questions before we close our meeting? John?
Well, it's very interesting on this injured party thing. I cannot sue you, nor can you sue me, because of a potential injury.
Thank you.
However, if you drive down the highway at 90 miles an hour, what's wrong with that? There's a potential injury. The federal government or the state government can get you for it. There's no injury, but there's a potential injury.
Potential injury.
So the government can get you for potential injury, but individuals can't.
There's a way out of that. There's a way out of that. We can put the burden of proof on them to prove that there is an injured party. But the problem is it comes back to contracting. If we contract with the grazing permit, if we contract with the driver's license, there's all sorts of ways to contract, and even if an officer of the law comes up and says, come over here, I need you to look at this document. You have just acquiesced to their request. You have just made a verbal contract. It's all kind of crazy the things you can learn when you get to the sources, and the people that are taking these situations on and winning. Things we don't even understand, but that power is there. That's what sovereignty is about. Any other comments? Well, thank you, Jensen's. Thank you, speakers. Thanks, Bundy's, and we appreciate all of your attention. We're the last folks standing at the meeting today. Appreciate you coming. Everybody travel safe home. Please pick up some materials, and we're glad to keep in touch. We're an organization that wants to protect, defend, and serve you.
Let's see, there are some.
Well, he's got one copy, he's going to give to your make sure we get you what you want to do. You guys have they got a lot of keep the shooter.
This one's here. Everything's already gone.
Okay. I haven't seen it.
Somebody says, this is Nevada law on road closures. That is good laws. Road closures, Nevada law, Nevada good laws. And you know, it's like the difference between
Thank you, God. And I think most of it.
Need to stack chairs.
Wish you wouldn't have taken them out. Took them all out. What? Now I've got to try to figure out how to put them back.
We have a whole pile of
And I need to go get some of your materials before we go off.
you know, you think it's really yeah. We met Corey. He's probably done this.
Election of senators, pretty extensively and clearly about.
Because if Frank is.
Okay, well, let me give you a load to the
Frank is.
The best thing that I have in my car.